This clip is all about avoiding scams on eBay. I'm going to run through some of the more common cons and how you can avoid being stung. The first and probably one of the most common cons is people selling ghost items. And ghost items are exactly that. They're items that don't really exist. The biggest thing is normally the items that these people target are big ticket items like computers, TVs, jewellery, items that are going to wrangle in a lot of cash quite quickly. One of the biggest signs that there's someone selling ghost items is that they'll have several of the exact same item listed at the same time. This is because they're trying to make as many sales as quickly as possible before they get caught by eBay. Another way you can spot a ghost item is by looking at feedback. Often the seller will have little or no feedback, or they'll have feedback listings from probably the same or very few people. How many other items have they sold, if any, and where do they come from? Most people that are selling ghost items only sell outside of their home country, so they can avoid prosecution if they're caught. One of the oldest tricks in the book is fake merchandise. I mean, sometimes it's pretty obvious to spot a Gucci handbag at $20. I don't think it's your lucky day. eBay is usually fairly quick to crack down on these fake goods because they require proof of authenticity before they're able to be listed online. Some still get through, and unfortunately some unsuspecting buyers do purchase items that are not the real deal. Again, with everything, the best indication of someone selling fakes is to look at their feedback. Usually once you've received the item, you can tell that it's not a genuine article, and people who have previously dealt with this person hopefully have left feedback to indicate this. Another con is people claiming items do things or are things that they are not. For example, claiming that a glass of water was once sipped from by Elvis Presley. If you don't have any proof of this, then you probably can't sell the item, and eBay will be pretty quick to pull it down. As well, for sellers, making up that an item is something that it is not will also land you in a lot of trouble and could even result in your eBay account being blocked. So unless you have evidence that the item is what you say it is, it's probably best just to stick to selling regular items to avoid any trouble. Shill bidding is basically the process of bidding on your own items or having a friend or family member bid on your items in order to bump up the price for you. While this does to some people seem fairly legitimate, it actually is illegal and you're not allowed to have anyone you know bid on your items. Now, you might change your mind and think, well, if I bump up the price enough, no one will buy the item. This is still completely illegal. If you don't want to sell your item any longer, you have to remove it from eBay. Recently, a gentleman in the UK was caught shill bidding and was charged the maximum penalty, which was £5,000. And yes, it's also illegal to have more than one account and bid across both of your items with these accounts. In saying this, it's also illegal to leave feedback for yourself. Clearly, all the feedback you're probably going to leave is positive, and this gives other buyers and sellers the false impression that you're a good seller, even if it is the case. So if you have more than one account, these two accounts never shall meet. You must keep them very separate and not bid on your own items. One of the biggest scams that many buyers pull is the old blaming the postie trick. It happens more than you would think. Basically, once a buyer has purchased an item, paid for it, and it's arrived safely at their door, they then contact the seller saying that the item has never arrived. And then, through eBay, they put in a dispute and get their money back from the poor seller. This is known as a chargeback, and yes, it's very illegal, but it's often very hard to tell if the person hasn't received the item. The best way to prevent this from happening? Registered post. The problem with this is that many buyers don't want to pay the extra for registered post, especially the ones that are trying to pull this con. But the best way to ensure that this doesn't occur or happen to you is to make sure that you either register the item or have it couriered. Another big clue is often they'll ask for the transaction to take place outside of eBay. Once you start dealing with people outside of eBay and PayPal, you're no longer covered by their protection policies, and therefore if something does happen and you don't receive your item, unfortunately your money is almost always lost.